Well, it's Cup final week, and we got a domestic Cup final coming up. But before we get there, we got some review and some news. But we do have Joel with us this week. Let's get into it. This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from a collection of friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. Up top with me is Brad. He supports Chelsea. Directly beneath me is Sean. He supports Tottenham. And diagonally across from me, diagonally below, is Joel. He supports Newcastle United. Everyone give Joel a round of applause. Welcome, man. Hello. How are you today?
Doing well, thank you guys. Thanks for having me again.
How are you? Are you starting to feel a little apprehensive or anxious about Sunday?
I'm excited. It's a weird feeling for me, something I'm not used to. So it's cup final week, so I'm trying to enjoy every moment of it.
I love the way you phrased it. Of if I'm going to be a guest of either before the game or after the game, I would rather it be before the game.
It has too much risk involved if it's after.
Yeah, I like that.
Maybe we can find a Manchester United supporter to join us next weekend.
I got one. I got one for that too.
Before we get too deep into this, if you're new, if you stumbled across us, if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button and then ring the sub notification bell. I'll get there eventually. If you're on one of the podcast sites, leave it a 5-star review if the platform so allows. Drop a comment in the YouTube comments. We love hearing from you guys. We've got a couple different comments lined up that we will be talking about probably in our news episode this week. And share it with a friend. Join our Discord. It's in the show notes, the description of this video, all those things. And we would really appreciate it if you do all those things. They make us happy. We're still in Operation Trick Google, so help us to pull the wool over Google's eyes. Okay, so what we have on offer tonight. So tonight today, as you guys are getting this, we're just reviewing the Premier League from last weekend. Match week 24, the 10 games that happened on the weekend. We will dig into a selection of those games before we get out tonight. So
hey, Brad,
that's what we got.
I bet you he pulls the table up this week, huh?
Oh, you know it. He's got to.
It's that time. We got to look at the league table.
Okay. Yeah.
It's exactly that time. Okay. Hold on a second. There we go. All right. So in first position, sole possession of first position, we've got Arsenal on 54 points. They've played 23 games. In second position is Manchester City. They have played 24 games and they are on 52 points. So Arsenal currently have a 2-point lead over City with a game in hand. United are in third. They're on 49 points. And then up into fourth for the first time in a good long while is Tottenham Hotspurs. They are on 42 points. However, Newcastle United, who they have just surpassed, have a game in hand and are only 1 point behind them. So if Newcastle win their game in hand, then they will leapfrog Tottenham. But the next time Newcastle play in the Premier League is going to be
it'll be 2 games in hand
2
by
weeks
the
or so.
Next time we all play. Yeah.
So Fulham are in 6th. They are up to 6th. They dispatched Brighton at the weekend, and that puts Brighton in 7th. Liverpool are up to 8th. They have sent Brentford 9th, and unchanged, same number of points. Chilling in 10th, just, rocking out, is Chelsea. Graham Potter's got them playing precisely the way they want. In 11th is Aston Villa. Crystal Palace is in 12th. Nottingham Forest is up to 13th. They're just going to survive, aren't they? Like, they're just going to stay up.
I told you.
They're just going to survive. Leicester are in 14th. Wolves are in 15th. Everton are up to 16th. Bournemouth are up to 17th. West Ham and Leeds fall into the relegation zone in 18th and 19th, respectively. And Southampton are still in 20th. However, they pick up in astronomical 3 points at the weekend. So now Southampton are only 3 points away from safety, which is massive for them. So we'll see if they are able to, better themselves and get out of the predicament they're in. but I'm fairly certain that they're still searching for a manager. So I guess Big Sam's still available.
Southampton just picked up 20% of their previous point total.
They picked up 33% of their total points from Chelsea.
Yes.
As we're getting there, should we get into Southampton beating Chelsea? Because I think that's where you want to go there. Am I wrong?
No, I wasn't going there. I just wanted to point out that 3 points is absolutely enormous to a team that previously had 15.
Yeah. So generally, Brad, if you want me to, I can roll through the list of results real quick.
Sure.
We want to try and stay at least a little bit on task here before we get into Graham Potter slander.
They clearly haven't watched this pod long enough. They think we stay on task.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so match week 24, there was the midweek Arsenal City match, which we did talk about last week. City beat Arsenal 3-1. We talked about that last week, so if you're curious to hear my take on that, you can check. I think it was probably the preview episode of last week. I don't really honestly remember. I'm not sure. A Saturday kicked off. The weekend kicked off. Aston Villa, Arsenal. Arsenal win 4-2. Brentford and Palace ends in a 1-1 draw. Fulham beat Brighton 1-0. Chelsea and Southampton, that game ends 1-0 to Southampton at the Bridge. Everton leads 1-0 to Everton. Forest City ends 1-1. Huge point for Forest. Huge point for Forest. Wolves Bournemouth ends 1-0 to Bournemouth. Newcastle Leicester ends 2-0 to Liverpool. And United Leicester 3-0 for United. And the weekend ends in a London derby, much to Sean's chagrin. It's Spurs West Ham. Spurs win 2-0. Emerson Royal had a worldie, if I'm to believe Sean's Twitter. He's defending his boy Emerson Royal very vehemently on the Twitters today. But
come fight me.
He scores when he wants to. That's what it is. That's just what it is. He just has to want to score more, right, Sean?
Yo,
is that a song?
I wasn't vehemently defending. This person just said, I can't get over how bad this finish is. It went in the back of the net. Like, what else do you want from a finish? Like, you're just trying to pick you're just trying to pick on a player that is much maligned. Like,
he wants a Ward-Prowse finish, clearly. That's what he wants.
It's went in the back of the net. What else do you want out of a finish?
Yeah, it was weird. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking about Spurs and West Ham, but we'll do it
yeah,
now.
We are.
Okay. Well, apparently we're going to do it now. I saw that tweet and I looked at it and I'm like, Fabianski probably should have done better there. If Fabianski isn't on his heel, if he's not on his heels, he probably saves that because that shot is not very well taken. But I mean, it's coolly finished by Emerson. So
yeah. Just slot it past, yeah.
And the thing about it, though, I think he could have gone either side of Fabianski because Fabianski was so poorly balanced there that either side
no man's land. Yeah, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
The play of that play was the Højbjerg pass. It was coolly slotted through to Davies.
Now,
that was a top notch from the midline. Curled it around the defender. That was a pass. Proper pass.
Did he make that pass before Declan Rice told him that no one liked him?
That came later,
Okay.
And Declan Rice was a child.
Okay,
and I can't. He fits squarely into Chelsea's profile of being immature and childish.
Okay.
No one likes you. Okay.
It was such a weird.
What a weird insult for a 27-year-old man to say about another 27-year-old man.
All right.
He's like 22, but yeah, continue.
Declan Rice is not that young.
What? He's like 22, 23.
He's pretty young.
What you want to bet?
How much do you want to bet?
I'll bet you all your points, Sean.
He is 24, so you are wrong and I am wrong. That doesn't make you right, though.
I guess
23.
I guess that makes Joel and I correct.
Right.
Yes. Yes. It makes.
We didn't get it wrong.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah,
wrong,
that's
so
right.
Therefore, we're
you
right.
guys are the correct ones.
Nice. Well done, Joel. Fist bump. Boom.
Good stuff.
Okay. Let's. I think we start because of our esteemed guests. I think we start at St. James's Park and we dissect this Newcastle Liverpool match. We figure out what went wrong, and I don't know if there's any lingering implications, perhaps. I don't know.
There might just be a few of those. It was annoying. Newcastle started. I don't know if any of you watched it. The first 10 minutes, they were just attacking Liverpool, making all the chances, should have scored. And then Liverpool, to be fair to them, especially their second goal, but both goals were just really precise, really nice. And 2-0, you're just down in the dumps. And then Nick Pope just comes out and tries to, play the sweeper keeper, and screws it up a little bit. I get what he's thinking. He just wants to stop the third goal going in, but I think it was just an instinct reaction, and he probably wasn't thinking about next weekend. He stopped the third goal, but he's now not going to be in goal next weekend. So that was a little annoying. Newcastle, though, to be fair, second half.
Oh yeah,
like they played well.
Oh yeah.
If we had 10 men, Liverpool didn't convince me at all. I know they were trying to kill the game, but they actually didn't kill the game. Newcastle were the better team, even with less players.
I agree implicitly with that read of the second half. Newcastle bossed the second half.
We had chances. We should have scored. Wilson didn't have a great day in front of goal.
Isak had a couple good opportunities in the first half.
Frustrating game.
As I was scrolling through the Twitters, because I was on vacation, so I didn't get to watch a ton of football this weekend. But people were saying Alisson is the best goalie to ever play in the Premier League. I guess that may have been true before Tuesday, but after Tuesday, that argument I don't think holds water. But was he playing that well?
He made a few key saves. I wouldn't say they were world-class saves. Like they were more badly placed finishes. I'm thinking especially Wilson towards the end of the second half. He had a golden chance that he should just score, and he played it straight to Alisson. Essentially, Alisson played well, but no,
saves you expect Alisson to make.
Yes, nothing out of the ordinary.
2 points.
Okay.
The claim was that Alisson was the best goalkeeper in the Premier League, and then Brad had brought up a non-Premier League game.
Yep.
And then there were 2.
Okay.
We have talked about on this podcast that Alisson is good without making world-class saves because his positioning is flawless, and that's what makes him a good goalkeeper. Because he's always in the right position, so he makes it look effortless.
Yeah, that's a fair point as well.
So he doesn't normally do the De Gea saves because he's not out of position like De Gea is.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point as well. But I also think that he is being put under significantly more pressure this season than he has in previous seasons.
It also helps.
And so it amplifies the number of opportunities he has to make saves. So,
when I was going to war for Hugo Lloris 5 or 6 years ago and fighting every person who said that David De Gea was better.
Was that last year?
No, Lloris has been on decline. But 5 or 6 years ago, I was fully in that war, knowing doggone well the only reason Lloris is good is Jan and Toby and Kyle Walker and Danny Rose. I was full well knowing the only reason Lloris has a clean sheet or low goals against is because of the back line. But that's part of the defense. So
yeah, I mean, and I think that's more true 10 years ago, where you look at like keepers are expected to do so much more in today's game than they were even 5 years ago. The keeper is so much more of an important member of the offense, to be completely honest. So like that's where I think we're seeing Hugo suffer, is that that's not in his repertoire. Ball at his feet, that's not his thing. And so that's why I think sometimes you see he's exposed a little bit because he's put under more pressure in that aspect. And so maybe sometimes he makes more rash decisions and, puts the ball into touch where you would expect a keeper to make a pass or something like that. And then you judge him harshly for it. But I mean, Hugo's a decent keeper. He's no Aaron Ramsdale, but he's a decent keeper. No Nick Pope, but he's a decent keeper. Maybe you guys can get England's number one bestest keeper of all time your boy Dean Henderson in the summer. We'll see.
I'm gonna butcher the name, but the streets are telling me Benuno. I think it was the Moroccan goalkeeper who plays for Sevilla.
I mean, I don't know. I think if Dean Henderson is available, I'd go try and get Dean Henderson. But
I would as well.
It saves you a non-foreign player.
Yeah.
He's young.
Foreign
He's
player spot.
English. That's what I would do. But again, I'm not Daniel Levy, and I don't have to try and negotiate that deal.
I hope it's not Levy negotiating that deal. It'll take 3 years.
That's awfully generous of you saying that Daniel Levy negotiates any deal.
Certainly not going to be
Because he
Paratici.
Doesn't sound like he's negotiating anything. Sounds like he says this is what the price is, and then that's it.
All right, let's head over to West London to Stamford Bridge. We had the boys, the Saints came into town. They came marching into town, and they came marching out of town with 3 points. Brad, how on this beautiful planet that we call Earth, in this year of our Lord 2023, does Chelsea Football Club lose at home 1-0 to the 20th place team in English football?
They I don't know. They lost 2-1 to them earlier in the year at Southampton. We had a different manager.
Southampton did the league double over Chelsea
Yeah,
this year?
Southampton did the league double for the first time since 1987-88. Their 1-0 win at Stamford Bridge that season saw a 17-year-old make his senior English league debut. Joel, any idea who that person would be? In 87-88, playing for Southampton.
Matt Letizia. No idea.
Nope.
No idea.
You have his jersey. It's your favorite
Shearer.
jersey.
Shearer.
Yeah,
Oh my
Shearer
God.
made his debut the last time Southampton did the double over Chelsea. Yes. Look, you don't give Ward-Prowse a free kick outside the box. Like, as soon as that foul happened, I said, "Oh, Southampton is scoring a goal."
Yeah,
Like, literally, as soon as that, I said, "Okay, it's 1-0."
I don't understand how he is so good at that.
Like, wow, and it was a great free kick. Like, it was a great, like, perfectly well placed free kick. And then in the 75th minute, that's a red card. 100% of the time, the kick to
Give us some
Cesar-
context. Give some
All right,
context.
cool. Ball's being crossed into the box. Cesar Azpilicueta goes up to head the ball, and he heads the foot of Mara heads the foot of Mara instead of the ball, and then is knocked out for about 15 minutes.
Okay, so here's the context I was really looking for. The Southampton player tries to do a bicycle kick and kicks Cesar Azpilicueta in the head.
No. He didn't get a red card. So Azpi headbutted his foot. It wasn't endangerment of a player. It wasn't a high boot. It wasn't anything like that. No, Azpi headed him. That's what it was.
All right. So only one player is allowed to go for a cross. Only one player.
No, absolutely.
Specifically,
both players are allowed to go. Absolutely.
Yes, 100%. Both players are able and should go for the ball.
Okay.
You're not allowed to put you're not allowed to put
You're not allowed to put your head above your waist.
You're not allowed to put
But
your
how
boot
can they-
5 feet in the air.
Above your waist. Yeah.
How can they both go for the ball if one of them is guaranteed to get a red card? If you make because if Azpilicueta is heading the ball and another guy's kicking the ball, then it's a red card. Done. No
Because
football.
if your foot is up here,
right,
that's a red card, regardless of where you're at on the field. That's
an overhead kick.
That's
not in the rule books. There's no high sticking. There like it's not hockey.
Oh, okay.
There's a foul.
There is a
high boot.
There is a foul for high boot, but he's not going in for a tackle. He's going in for a shot. It's a little different.
I will concede that it's different. But
It's not a red card.
You get red cards for violent conduct. You get red cards for endangering.
For tackling.
This is
violent conduct doesn't always have to be tackling. You see people get red cards for violent conduct for like putting their forehead on someone else when they're arguing about someone. Like
sure, but he's going for a shot. He's trying to score a goal.
I understand that the context is different, but it's not only in tackles. Is I guess my point.
Okay, correct. Yeah.
This to me, and as much as I don't like Chelsea. This is obviously a dangerous play. This is obviously a dangerous play. There's always an understanding that if you go for a bicycle kick, that like, and you kick someone in the head, that there should be ramifications for that.
We should ban bicycle kicks.
No, we shouldn't ban bicycle kicks. But if you kick,
because you're always going to be endangering someone.
But if you bicycle kick and you kick someone in the head, there needs to be some sort of ramification for that. Whether or
there was, you got a yellow card.
I think that's insufficient in this circumstance.
Explain to me what the difference between this play is, and if there were a half volley that someone got their body in the way for, and you kicked them in the butt. What is the difference?
Half, like in the where?
Or not a half volley. I'm sorry, a waist level volley, like a side volley. What is the difference in the play?
One involves someone's skull.
Then they shouldn't have stuck their head in there.
They shouldn't stick their head height.
Like, you're going for a header.
Yeah, sure.
So,
hold on. Time out.
Remove the foot from the situation. So if he goes up for a header and it hits another head, now the guy who headed the guy with the head now has to have a red card because it's the same as a foot.
The foot is materially different.
More dangerous. Hold on. When we had the penalty on the non-red card on Havertz, right? From last year when he jumped up with a header but had his arm out, that everybody was like, "Oh, that should be a red card." This was a boot to the face at the same height.
Because Havertz was elbowing. This guy's trying to score a goal.
To the face.
He's not kicking him to try and kick him. Havertz deliberately elbowed someone in the face.
Havertz was jumping, and it was a motion to jump, not to elbow in the face.
That's such an awful response.
This is 100% a red card. Like, I don't know what you're saying. Like, you kicked him in the face.
You've ever made. He didn't kick him in the face.
Kick to the face.
If this were midfield, I would agree with you. Violent conduct, 3-game ban.
This is in the box. It's a red card.
This is in the box. He's trying to score.
This is on the sidelines. This is a red card.
No,
yes.
Brad, you're just wowing because your club's 10th and you can't beat bottom of the league at home. Seriously, it's not a red card.
I don't care if this. You can reverse the kits and this is still a red card.
It just isn't.
I disagree with Joel here.
Terrible take on both y'all, but that's okay.
I think I agree with Brad. I think in this specific situation, when I'm looking at this specific situation, I think that's a red card.
Even if it's right,
you have to change the rules of the game completely. Like any time there's an overhead kick and someone's trying to score a goal with an overhead kick and someone goes up to head it, he's off because it's endangering the opponent, whether he knocks him out or not.
We live in a different world where we're trying to protect players from head injuries, and we're trying to actively make the game safer. And
wear helmets then.
Okay, I can understand the frustration. Like I can understand that like it's inelegant and that it changes the fabric of the game of what we're expecting, of what we've seen for the last 150 years. But at the same time, if we're trying to, this is a rare occasion. It very rarely happens. But I think it happens
once every couple of years.
I think it's still okay for it to rarely happen and it still be a red card. It seemed very dangerous to me.
Azpilicueta put his head in where he knew.
He jumps. What do you mean? It's not like he was like this. It was like he was ducking to get the ball with his head.
And
he jumps in the air to get the ball.
And Mara's having a shot.
I don't see the difference.
He doesn't even hit the ball. What do you mean? The ball's
a head-to-head collision.
He mistimes the kick. What? This is a red card all day. All day long.
Head-to-head collision or a side volley that hits a body.
Brad. What if the two heads clashed and Mara was okay, but Azpilicueta still got knocked out? Is that a red card?
Then that's fine. No, it's not. This is a high boot to his face.
To me.
How?
So Azpilicueta is knocked out on the floor from a headbutt, and it's not a red card.
Going for a header in the box? No. Going for a foot in the box? Yes. How is it not? How?
Okay. All right,
how is this inconsistent? The point is that the foot is 6 feet in the air.
Your point was Azpilicueta is down on the floor, unconscious.
The point is the foot is 6 feet in the air and it hits his head. It's not whether the head hits a head, because that's what you would expect. You expect two people to jump up and head the ball. You don't expect a foot to your face.
Just like the offsides rule, it is a goal-scoring part of the body that is going for the ball.
Yes, but there are specific rules in place that say where the foot can and can't be. There's a specific high boot rule, right?
Which is why he got a yellow. Yes, he got a yellow for high boot.
Fairways.
Sure. Yes. So there's a specific rule for high boot. So arguing that it's a part of your body that can play the ball is, I think, irrelevant because he is already acting illegally in this situation.
It's not illegal because again, that's not my argument.
Mara is booked for his high boot on Azpilicueta. Is what it says for his yellow card. That's what the yellow card says for his high boot.
So all overhead kicks should be yellow cards.
For his high boot on
somebody in the face,
I think somebody in the face, yes. You kick somebody in the chest, yes. If you kick somebody above the waist, yes, that is what the rule is.
Yes,
he got a yellow card. It's a red card. That's endangering the player.
It's a yellow card.
Yes, that should be a red card. You kick somebody in the chest, it's a red card. If you kick somebody in the shin, it should be a red card.
Xabi Alonso, Nigel de Jong, World Cup final 2010. He got a red card. Do you know because he had his foot high and he got him in the chest in the middle of the pitch. He wasn't trying to score a goal. He was trying to hurt him. There was nothing about Mara trying to hurt.
Kicked in the head. It's a red card.
I agree with you, Joel. He was not trying to hurt him, but
no, not in the slightest.
Not in the slightest. It was.
I didn't say that either. I don't want to make that a thing. I agree. He was the intent was not to injure. Of course, the intent was to score a goal. He kicked him in the head. It's a red card.
Just not.
All right. So according to Joel, just according to Brad. Wayne Rooney's iconic bicycle kick to win the league in the Manchester Derby is yellow carded, red carded then and there because he bicycled it in the box.
No.
Did he hit somebody in the face?
You guys
you're absolutely trying to put words into my mouth. He hit a player in the fucking face.
You're sensationalizing his. You're sensationalizing.
Like you're trying to shorten this up that a bicycle kick is illegal. No, a bicycle kick is perfectly fine. You kick somebody in the fucking face, you go off the field.
He happened to hit someone in the face because they stuck their face near the ball that was trying to be kicked.
We have to absolutely stop this dialogue about he stuck his face into his foot. That's such an asinine comment because
it's not.
The foot. Sean, when was the last time you looked at
as a goalkeeper?
I have a question for you. That I want you to answer. All right. Where is your foot in relation to your head?
How far away is your foot from your head right now? Or from your foot?
Literally as far away as you possibly can be. Okay, you deserve a red card for violent conduct. All right, we're not going to solve this. We're not going to settle this. No. The only way is for you guys in the comments to tell us what you think. If you think it was violent conduct, if you think, Jimmy, do the Jack test. You did this with the West Ham red card. You did the Jack test where you showed it to Jack and Jack decided what it was. I might be inclined to let Jack decide what the outcome of this is. But I think the bigger takeaway is let's all take a moment and laugh at Chelsea because this is fantastic.
Amen to that.
There is such a civil war brewing.
Chelsea toxicity. Chelsea Twitter is 1,000% toxic right now.
I wanted to spend more time on this Graham Potter in, Graham Potter out situation, but we spent a lot of time on that. But Brad, you are firmly Graham Potter in.
Yes, 1,000%. I am Graham Potter in.
I'm also Graham Potter in.
Probably for different reasons. They surely can't sack another manager in the middle of the season after spending 300 million pounds.
650.
Let's do this, Matt. Let's do this.
300 in January for Potter.
Let's think about this. Like if you take out Graham Potter, so let's assume Todd Bowley is Roman Abramovich 2.0, and he's like, you know what, Graham, you got to go. Who's taking the job?
Somebody who wants a payday. Because Todd Bowley said, "Oh, I'm going to give Graham Potter a 5-year deal." Okay, we already know that Todd Bowley's all about giving long-term deals. So when Jose Mourinho's agent comes calling and says, "Hey, Jose will come back to Chelsea, give him a 6-year deal at $12 million a year, £15 million a year," Jose will take that job.
I love Jose. I love Jose. And
Jose
out of all of the possible people, I'm for Jose return for a third time.
I'm not.
But
Jose's a good manager.
I'm here for a Jose time, but Graham Potter in.
He's a good
Stay the
manager
course.
when he's backed.
Yeah.
Stay the course. Yeah, you can't talk about Tottenham. Yeah. He was not
Take
bad
out
at
the Tottenham years. He was a
Yeah.
fine manager at Tottenham. Didn't get his players.
Yeah.
We got.
But that means
Go ahead.
then we restart
Go ahead, Joel.
again.
Mourinho
no.
was about to end Tottenham's trophyless run, and then he got sacked right before the final.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
So stupid
It's
thing.
it's my favorite part of the Super League.
utterly. You couldn't. There are not many things on earth that could describe Tottenham better than firing one of the winningest managers right before a final in a cup drought.
Especially a manager who wins cup finals.
Who wins cup finals? Yes.
And beats Pep. Consistently beats Pep.
Yeah.
We had to roll into that with Ryan Mason. His first game as a first team manager is against City in a cup final because we fired the winningest coach in final history right before the final.
That's so good.
Nothing sums up Tottenham better than that.
It's so Spursy. So Spursy.
It's the most Spursy thing there is.
I think the good
I
thing
can't even retort. I can't even retort because
honestly,
you're right.
I think to go back to Chelsea Twitter as we were talking about like the whole toxicity. I think Chelsea Twitter is used to something goes wrong, you fire the manager, which we've all bitched about for the past 15 years. Of hey, can we stick with one? No, something went wrong. He's gone. That's how it's been. So I don't think Chelsea Twitter is necessarily used to
timeout.
What?
If 5% of the fan base is complaining that another manager got fired, but then 6 months later, when you guys win something, you all are championing this manager and like, oh, he's the best man. Like I don't. Chelsea Twitter and Chelsea social media is just all over the place.
Oh, I know.
In terms of like they're hot.
It's a roller coaster.
All the time. And
yes.
Chelsea fans, I think you guys deserve a good 10 years of pain.
No,
and then
that won't happen.
And then we'll talk. What? I mean, how long? Okay, we will continue to the Graham Potter situation, Graham Potter in or out situation is going to continue. It's going to persist. So we'll talk about it down the line. But like, I want you to think in the back of your mind. I'm going to ask you in like 2 weeks after Chelsea's next shock result, or if you guys get dumped out of the Champions League or something like that. I'm going to ask you what is the straw that breaks the camel's back for Graham Potter? Like, what is just the bridge too far? And so you don't have to answer it now. I don't want you to answer it now because we're going to move on. But that's the question I'm going to ask you. And I want you to have a good answer. Okay?
Okay. I have the answer, but we'll wait.
Brighton Fulham. That game was the battle for sixth. Fulham win 1-0 away. I think De Zerbi got sent off in the tunnel after the match. He was big mad. That's a pretty big result in terms of the table. It puts Fulham, they are now 4 points off of fourth. Are we living in a world where Fulham are making a top 4 challenge?
No.
You don't think so?
I think Fulham will finish. I think Liverpool will gain some momentum. I don't think Fulham will finish top 6.
Liverpool are gaining momentum.
I generally
agree. It's going to be tough.
I generally agree with you, Joel.
Good for them if they do. That's a cool story, but I don't think they'll make it.
Gakpo and Nunez are starting to find themselves again. It feels like over the past couple of games. So if that is to remain true, then Liverpool should start tidying up some of these results.
Let me ask you guys a different question then. If you don't think Fulham are in a top 4 race, maybe they finish 6th and sneak into the Europa League or something like that. Are Manchester United in a title race? Are Manchester United legitimately in a title race? They currently sit 5 points behind first place Arsenal. Arsenal have a game in hand on them. Now Arsenal, the problem for United is that they've already played both United and City twice. So they don't play United or City again for the rest of the season. And they're behind both of them. Do you think United have played themselves back into the title contention?
I did see a funny wrestling meme for those who watched wrestling through the early 2000s, late 90s. And it was Brock Lesnar and Goldberg in the ring staring each other down. And these are mammoths of men, these two guys. And above their heads were City and Arsenal, and then the lights go out, and then when they come back on, there's United, who is the Undertaker, who has appeared also in the ring. And I thought that was hilarious, because then I immediately pulled up the table and I'm like, yeah, they're right there. Yeah,
Right?
they're knocking on the door. Yeah, they are not far away from being in the conversation.
I don't think that it's. I think. I think it's legitimate to think that they are in it.
Yeah.
Joel, you were.
I think
shaking.
they're vast. I think they're vast outsiders. The goal difference is also way behind
Yeah.
City,
Yeah.
which is an extra point essentially. But you know, as long as it's mathematically possible and within distance, then maybe stranger things have happened.
I mean, like the thing is, like I was, if United get dumped out by Barcelona, and they're no longer in the Europa League, the Carabao Cup goes away. They've got the FA Cup still going on, but I saw a tweet today that was talking about Arsenal's fixture congestion in April, assuming that Arsenal were to advance in the Europa League. They're playing every 3 days essentially for the entire month of April. No breaks essentially. So like there's a world where like if United don't have that fixture congestion, City presumably will have that same fixture congestion, assuming that they advance past Leipzig. Like I think that there's a world where United having less fixtures coming down the stretch could help them. So I think it's just something to keep your eyes on. Anything else you guys want to touch on before we get out of here? Anything?
Did we hear about Emi Martinez scoring for Arsenal?
Oh, we didn't talk about that. His first goal for Arsenal.
It was the craziest end to a game in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
That goal should not have stood.
Why?
Two Arsenal players, I don't know who they were blocking his view.
You think that's offside?
There's an argument for that his view was obstructed. There's an argument for that.
I can see. The shot was high, so the reason why I would say that he's not blindsided or unsided by those players is because it's not like the ball is blocked by them. The shot is high, and so Emi can see it the entire time. It's not like it's going through bodies and things like that. But
if it was called off for offside, it would be awful. Like I would feel bad for Arsenal if it was called off. But
yeah,
there is an argument that
could you imagine the tinfoil hats that Arsenal fans would be putting on their head after the Brentford offside, and then this, like they would that would be a sight to behold. But no, yeah, I mean, it's a great result. Like Sean was talking about this in terms of the Arsenal United result, in terms of like getting it in a game where maybe you're not going to get a result, but then you get that last minute winner. And like, that's really, it shows a lot. It helps. It proves a lot. I think this was a hugely important 3 points for Arsenal, in terms of the context of the last 3 or 4 weeks. And then it's benefited by the fact that City dropped points away to Forest. So you combine those two things. You put Arsenal's destiny back into our own hands. And yeah, I couldn't be happier. Did you guys see how Unai Emery responded after the match to Emi Martinez going up for the corner kick?
Mm-hmm.
He essentially threw Emi under the bus. So after the match, like the reporters asking, like, hey, we saw Martinez go up and then they scored the 4th goal. Is that in your game plan or something like that? Did you tell him to go up? Essentially, is what the reporter's asking Unai, and Unai's like, no, like that's never in my plan. Maybe you score 1 in 100 of those, but like it's never in my plans for my goalkeeper to go up for a corner. And so he just like essentially like lambasted Martinez to the press. So maybe Martinez is going to be available. I mean, I think it's a legitimate situation where Emi could become available, and he could leave Villa this summer. I think that's something to keep your eyes on. But yeah, okay. I think that's all we have for it was a huge week. We didn't even touch on the fact that Everton beat Leeds, Bournemouth beat Wolves. Like, these are huge relegation implications in terms of the points totals. So, that's something we'll have to keep our eyes on. Stradamus is absolutely nailing it in his pontification or prophecy that the relegation battle would be more interesting than the top 4 battle, and I think he's nailed it again. But definitely check back tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to get into the Champions League, talk about the Europa League a little bit. We got some comments to deal with, just normal news stuff, and then on Friday we will have a preview for you guys of the Premier League and, of course, the upcoming League Cup final. All right, well, that's all we got. Hit us up if you still haven't subscribed, you're still checking us out. Please do hit that sub button
hit the sub button and then ring the bell. Hit the sub button and ring the bell for those notifications when we drop.
That's the one.
I got your back.
5-star on the podcast. All those good things. Leave a comment down below because we will get to them in next week's rounds of episodes. Hit us up on Twitter. That's at KSBradG. Right beneath me is at Whiteheart_Sean. That's at Joel Findley 16. I'm at James Tiffany. Hit us up on at redcard_radio. That's our collective Twitter handle. And check back tomorrow for the news. And we will see you guys. We'll see you guys soon. Have a good one.